Alright everyone, now it's time for a video. Normally I don't do celeb stuff, but Britney Spears' conservatorship actually is a pertinent issue, I think, because it runs afoul of even basic human rights at this point. I'm thinking to myself, the backstory, after Britney Spears had her breakdown many years ago, she just had a kid and she shaved her head and was attacking the paparazzi at one point. And it was big on MTV at the time and all the pop culture magazines and shit. Everyone was talking about Britney Spears going crazy. A court stepped in and said, well, she's not capable of managing her affairs, so she's not allowed to raise her kids. We're going to mandate that she have an IUD put in so she doesn't have any other kids, by the way, which is extremely wrong on every possible level, and no libertarian could possibly ever support such a thing. And she's not allowed to manage her own money, so we're going to put her dad in charge of everything. Now, this is flat out abusive at this point. If Britney Spears is capable of touring the world and making millions of dollars and doing everything else on her own, she's got a boyfriend, I think, and everything else, if she's capable of doing all these things, why isn't she allowed to manage her own affairs? Doesn't seem crazy to me. And if she's so crazy that she's not allowed to choose whether to have a kid, if she's so crazy that she's only allowed limited visitation to her own kids that she has, if she's so nuts that she would blow through all of her money and attack people, she should be in a nut ward. She shouldn't be working. The state shouldn't even be allowed to set up a conservatorship unless the person is mentally incapacitated to the point where it's fairly obvious that they're literally incapable. Like, let's say that some actor, they have $100 million and all of a sudden gets drugged or hit by lightning, becomes, mentally dumb and is no longer a fully functioning adult. Oh, he has to wear diapers. Okay, maybe somebody else should be signing the checks. But that should also be looked at very closely. She's been fighting the conservatorship for years, finally gets a chance to speak out, by the way, against it, and is like, look, at this point, I'm a middle-aged woman. They're not even allowing me to have a normal sexual function. This is flat out nuts. As a libertarian, the fact that the legal system can take a apparently functional adult, again, capable of doing everything else that you and I do, who had a breakdown over a decade ago and shows has anxiety, obviously has depression and stuff, but is capable of taking medication and controlling that fact, under what possible premise could you say, well, basically everything that she does is going to be managed by other people? It's basically like being in prison. She is effectively in an open-air prison. It's like under house arrest sort of thing. She's only allowed to do things with daddy's permission, and she's, 40 years old now? It's just bullshit. So yeah, I believe in #FreeBritney. I've been convinced for a while. I didn't need to see her speak out against it directly. It was obviously wrong. I didn't even know about the IUD thing. That part is absolutely, completely nuts. The fact that a court can mandate that medical decisions should be made by the person. You should be, if you did this to a person, if you said, well, I'm going to mandate that because you're mentally retarded, you have to have an IUD, and dude, the ACLU would sue in a second. The ACLU, the SPLC, every goddamn politician would be taking a knee and grandstanding on it. It'd be like another Shivo case or something like that. They'd be up in arms. And rightfully so, there'd be a fucking torch-waving mob facing off against the judge the second they walked out of the fucking court. But for some reason, this has stood the test of legal time for years and years and years. Well, she's still a threat to herself potentially. She's not allowed to manage her own money because she'll have a breakdown. Okay, she's an adult, though. She's not completely incapacitated. She's not having a breakdown going on lengthy world tours and drawing crowds of tens of thousands of people wherever she goes. Dude, if she did blow through her money, she can literally take an afternoon and make $100,000 easily in a single day. She's not hurting when it comes to the financial department. Why don't you have a trust and don't have a conservator at all? Why don't you have some sort of money management that doesn't involve a third party making direct decisions? Wouldn't that be a little bit less draconian? What about her having kids? Okay, she's kind of at the age at this point where having kids is slowly creeping off the table anyway. If she chooses to have another, the fact that she'd have that right denied is absolutely asinine. It makes literally no sense. She's been prevented for virtually her entire adult life from having a normal adult life. Look, she already wasn't allowed to be a normal kid. and was forced into this bullshit in the first place because she has a reasonably good voice and can dance nicely. I was never a fan myself. I was a little bit old for the tween pop sort of thing by that time. I was never a Britney fan. But it doesn't matter. She's an adult. She doesn't seem crazy to me, and if she's really that much of a loose cannon, she shouldn't be touring. She should be a state ward, not under a conservatorship. Which is, by default, this is an abusive arrangement financially and psychologically. The way to help somebody who is, maybe has some mental issues like stress or whatever, anxiety, is not to basically treat them like a loose cannon. They do this, by the way, in the school system. They'll take some high-functioning ADHD kid, give him an aid, treat him differently from everybody else, and then wonder why they lash out. I fucking wonder why they're under stress. I don't understand why little Timmy keeps making weird noises in class. Could it be the fact that we're effectively discriminating against little Timmy despite being a taxpayer-funded apparatus? And little Timmy intelligent enough to understand that fact and gets pissed off by it? People actually have feelings. And the judge in this case, did he get a kickback? I'd be really goddamn interested to look through his banking statements. That's about all. Peace out.